right. Let's dive into the world of travel blogging. Today, we'll figure out what you need to know to make your blog stand out. And looking at these sources, Hostinger as a hosting platform will be a big part of our conversation.
Yeah, it's interesting. These sources really highlight a problem that travel bloggers always face. It's not just about the writing, it's also about managing a ton of visuals, handling huge traffic spikes when that post about a popular destination goes live, and making sure your site loads quickly for everyone anywhere in the world.
So true. I remember one time in the Scottish Highlands, finally got Wi-Fi after days off grid and was so excited to upload this awesome drone footage of Glencoe. But my site was so slow, it was painful. All those stunning visuals just stuck loading. Definitely a lesson learned about needing reliable hosting.
It's so frustrating when that happens, and that's where Hostinger seems to come in, at least according to what these sources are saying. They're really emphasizing features that are made to solve those exact problems.
Okay, tell me more. What really stood out to you?
Well, first, the sources are all about WordPress as the platform for travel bloggers, which makes sense, right?
Yeah, WordPress is my go-to as well.
Yeah.
But what about Hostinger specifically? What makes them good for travel blogs?
They seem to have a really solid set of tools, like one-click WordPress installation, automatic updates, which is super helpful when you're traveling, and they have something called Lightspeed Cache. It's supposed to be amazing for site speed.
Lightspeed cache, okay.
Yeah.
I'm definitely intrigued, but also a bit lost.
Think of it as a way to make your site much faster. It's something on the server that saves frequently accessed data, so it can be sent to visitors much faster. It's especially important for sites with a lot of images, like travel blogs.
So faster loading times, even with all those incredible photos and videos from your trips. Got it. But it sounds like there's even more to Hostinger for travel bloggers, right? The sources talked about image optimization tools, global CDN, and servers in multiple locations.
You're getting it. And those are all really important, especially that global CDN. Imagine someone in Tokyo trying to load your blog post about street food in Bangkok. Without a CDN, their request has to go all the way to your server, which could be anywhere. But with a CDN, there's a copy of your site on a server near them, so it loads way faster.
That's awesome. It's like teleporting your content. You
Yeah.
could be in Borneo writing about orangutans, and someone in London can see your blog instantly. No more waiting forever for those photos to load.
Exactly. And speaking of photos, let's talk about image optimization. All of these sources mention it, and there's a good reason. Images can be huge files, and they can really slow down a website, especially on phones.
Oh, tell me about it. My media library is a monster. I've got thousands of photos from my trips, and I used to just upload them straight from my camera. Huge mistake. My
Yeah.
site was slower than, well, really slow.
We've all been there. But that's where Hostinger's image optimization tools come in. They can shrink your images without making them look worse, so your site stays beautiful but loads quickly.
Okay, I'm sold. It sounds like they've thought of everything. But I have to ask, how does all this actually make things better for your readers? And how does it make a travel blog more successful? I mean, features are great, but what do they mean for actual travel blogging?
That's the real question, right? And these sources do a good job of explaining how Hostinger can make a real difference. Think about it. Faster loading times mean people are happier. They're more likely to stay on your site, read your content, maybe even sign up for your email list. And happy visitors are more likely to share your stuff, leave comments, and engage with you, which all helps you grow your audience.
So it's like a domino effect.
Mm-hmm.
Better performance makes for a better experience for users, which leads to more engagement, which leads to a bigger audience.
Exactly.
Okay, I get it. But let's talk about how to actually use all this. How can you, as a travel blogger, use these features to make a truly great blog?
Well, the sources highlight a few key areas. First, managing those massive photo galleries. We've all got hundreds of photos from each trip, and we're trying to organize them, optimize them, and make them look good on our sites.
Ugh, don't even remind me. That's my least favorite part of blogging. But it sounds like Hostinger has some tools to make it less painful.
That's what the sources say. They talk about bulk image optimization, which can save you so much time, and they have an easy-to-use media library that makes it simple to find and manage your photos. Plus, because Hostinger is all about performance, you can upload high-resolution images without worrying about slowing down your site.
Okay, I see the light. A well-organized media library and easy image optimization. I'm in. But what about video? That's another big one for travel bloggers, and those files can be huge.
You're right, video is becoming more and more important, and the sources say that Hostinger can handle that too. They've got things like video optimization and enough storage and bandwidth to handle those large video files.
So no more blurry videos or waiting forever for them to load. That's amazing.
Hmm.
But it sounds like there's even more to it than just photos and videos, right?
Right.
The sources also mention optimizing blog posts themselves and even adding e-commerce if you want to sell travel-related products.
Exactly. And that's where things get really interesting. We're going to get into those topics and more in part 2 of this deep dive. We'll explore how Hostingers can help you optimize your posts for search engines, manage affiliate links, and even set up an online shop to sell your travel guides or photography prints. So we're diving back into Hostinger. Let's see how it can help you level up your travel blog. Last time, we talked about managing all that visual content, but there's so much more to making a travel blog successful, right?
Definitely. We touched on optimizing blog posts and even e-commerce. Those are big topics, and I know a lot of travel bloggers have questions about how to make them work, myself included.
Exactly. And that's what's interesting about these sources. They go beyond just listing features. They actually talk about how to use Hostinger to grow your audience and maybe even turn your love of travel into a business.
Okay, I'm all ears. Let's start with optimizing blog posts. SEO is important, but it can be overwhelming, especially when you're juggling travel, photography, writing, and everything else.
Yeah, it's a lot. But the sources say Hostinger can help. Remember Lightspeed Cache. It's not just about speed, it can also help your SEO. Google likes fast websites, so caching can help your rankings.
So faster loading equals happy Google, which equals higher rankings. Makes sense. But what about the content itself? Can we do anything in Hostinger to optimize our posts for search engines?
Yeah, you can. The sources mention that Hostinger works with popular SEO plugins for WordPress, like Yoast SEO. These plugins look at your content and give you tips for improving keywords, meta descriptions, and just making your writing more readable.
I love Yoast. It's like having an SEO expert writing my WordPress. But I have to admit, keywords and meta descriptions always confuse me a little.
I get it. It can seem technical, but it's not that bad. Just think of keywords as the words people use to search for stuff online. Like if you're writing about hiking trails in Patagonia, you'll want to use keywords like Patagonia hiking, best trails in Patagonia, stuff like that.
Okay, I see. So using those keywords tells Google what my post is about.
Exactly. And meta descriptions are those little blurbs that appear under your title in search results. Think of it as a way to get people to click on your link.
So it's not just about using keywords, it's also about making people want to read my post.
Exactly. That's where your writing skills are important. Even with all the technical stuff, good content is still king.
Absolutely. But let's talk about making money. The sources mention affiliate links and e-commerce.
Right. Affiliate marketing is a huge opportunity for travel bloggers. Basically, you team up with brands and businesses that your audience likes, and you promote their stuff on your blog. If someone buys something through your link, you get a commission.
I've tried affiliate marketing, but it can be hard to keep track of everything. Does Hostinger have anything to help with that?
Yeah, they do. The sources say Hostinger works with affiliate link management plugins, like Thirsty Affiliates. These plugins can hide your affiliate links, track clicks, and analyze your earnings.
Nice. No more ugly links that scare people away.
Yeah.
What about e-commerce? I've been thinking about selling travel guides or photo prints, but setting up an online shop seems complicated.
It can be, but Hostinger makes it easier. They have one-click installation for platforms like WooCommerce, which integrates right into your WordPress site. You can set up product pages, manage inventory, take payments, all within Hostinger.
Wow, that's amazing. It's like having a whole online business built into my hosting. But what
Right.
about security? That's a big deal when you're dealing with customer data and payments.
Good point. And the sources say that Hostinger takes security seriously. They offer SSL certificates to encrypt data, and they have other security measures to prevent hacking and data breaches.
That makes me feel better. So we've talked about SEO, affiliate marketing, and e-commerce. Sound like Hostinger really does have everything a travel blogger needs. But I have one more question, one that I know is on a lot of people's minds.
Is it about the pricing?
You got it. We've talked about all these great features, but can travel bloggers actually afford them? Especially those just starting out.
That's fair, and the sources address it directly. They say Hostinger has different pricing plans for different needs and budgets, and they point out that Hostinger is known for competitive prices, especially for their basic plans.
So it sounds like there's an option for everyone, whether you're a big-time travel blogger or just getting started.
Right. And they also say it's important to understand the long-term costs. Don't just look at the initial discount. Compare the renewal prices, too.
Transparency is important. We need to know what we're signing up for in the long run. But let's go back to performance for a second. We talked about speed and optimization, but what about uptime? I mean, a fast website doesn't matter if it's always crashing.
That's a great point. And the sources assure us that Hostinger is reliable. They say they have a 99.9% uptime guarantee.
That's good to hear. I've definitely been frustrated by websites being down,
Yeah.
especially when you're trying to upload content or promote a new post.
It's the worst.
Okay, let's talk about something else that's important but often overlooked. Customer support. What if something goes wrong? Will Hostinger help?
That's a great question, and it's something every travel blogger should think about. The sources say Hostinger offers 204/7 customer support through live chat and email. They also have a big knowledge base with articles and tutorials.
24/7 support is great, especially when you're traveling in different time zones. But what about the quality of support? Are the agents knowledgeable and helpful, or will we be stuck waiting forever?
Unfortunately, the source doesn't really say much about the quality of support. They do mention that Hostinger has WordPress experts, which makes me think they can handle the needs of travel bloggers.
Okay, so we don't know for sure. We know they're available 24/7 and have WordPress experts, but we don't really know how good the support is. Maybe we could ask other travel bloggers about their experiences.
That's a good idea. Look for reviews that talk about their interactions with Hostinger's support. That kind of feedback will give you a better sense of what to expect.
So it sounds like while Hostinger has a lot to offer travel bloggers, it's important to do your research, compare prices, and see what other bloggers say before making a decision.
Absolutely. Choosing the right host is a big decision.
Well said. We've covered a lot in this deep dive, but there's one more thing we need to figure out. How do we know if Hostinger is a good investment for travel bloggers? In other words, is it worth the money? We'll tackle that question and more in part 3 of this deep dive. Stay tuned, the journey's not over yet. All right, we're back. For the final part of our Hostinger deep dive, we've talked about everything from photo galleries to SEO to even setting up an online shop. It's been a lot. But the big question remains, is Hostinger actually a good investment for travel bloggers?
That's the question, isn't it? And these sources don't avoid it at all. They break down the key things travel bloggers need to think about when deciding if a hosting provider like Hostinger is worth the money.
Okay, let's get into it. What do we need to consider?
Well, first, we have to go back to performance. We talked about speed and optimization. But does Hostinger really do what it says? Because if your site is slow or always crashing, all those other features don't really matter.
Right, it's like having a fancy camera but no memory card. You can't actually do anything with it.
Exactly. And the sources really stress that performance is everything for travel bloggers. Your audience is all over the world, your content is visual, and how much money you make often depends on people being able to access your site quickly.
So how do we know if Hostinger is really that good? Do we just have to trust them?
Not at all. Remember those online reviews and forum discussions we mentioned? That's where you can find out what other travel bloggers who are already using Hostinger think. Look for comments about loading times, uptime, and any problems they've had.
So it's about seeing what the travel blogging community says.
Yeah, they know what works and what doesn't.
Exactly.
And don't just rely on a couple good reviews. Try to find a variety of opinions to get a balanced view of Hostinger's good and bad points.
Okay, so performance is important. What else should we be thinking about?
The sources also talk about scalability. Can Hostinger grow with your blog as you get more readers, more content, maybe even new ventures like selling products or offering travel planning?
That's a good point. I've definitely outgrown hosting plans before, and it's always a pain to move everything to a new provider.
It's a hassle, so it's smart to pick a host that can handle your future growth. And the sources suggest that Hostinger is good at that. They have a variety of plans and the infrastructure to handle the changing needs of travel bloggers.
So it's not just about having enough space today, it's about having a platform that can adapt as you grow.
Right. And they emphasize that Hostinger's technology is designed for growth. They mention things like their global CDN, which can handle traffic spikes from all over the world, and their cloud-based infrastructure, which means they can easily add more resources as needed.
It's good to know. I've seen how crazy those traffic spikes can be for travel bloggers.
For sure. And having a host that can handle that without your site crashing is so important.
Yeah, it's all about keeping those visitors happy. Okay, so we've got performance and scalability. What else makes for a good return on investment?
Well, the sources talk about some other things that are important but easy to forget, like customer support, security features, and how easy the platform is to use. Because if you're spending all your time fixing tech issues or trying to figure out a complicated interface, you're not creating content or connecting with your audience.
That's a great point. You don't want to waste time on things that don't help your blog grow.
And the sources say that Hostinger can actually save travel bloggers time and hassle. With their 24/7 support, focus on security, and user-friendly platform.
So it's not just about the technical stuff. It's also about having a good experience that lets you focus on what really matters,
Yeah.
creating and sharing your travel stories.
Exactly. And they suggest that Hostinger's combination of being affordable, high-performing, scalable, and easy to use makes it a strong option for travel bloggers who are looking for a host that can help them grow and succeed.
But even with all that, the decision ultimately comes down to each individual blogger, right?
Definitely. There's no one right answer for everyone. You need to weigh the pros and cons, think about your budget, your goals, and your tech skills, and then make the best decision for you.
Well said. We hope this deep dive has helped you with that. Remember, there's a whole world out there to explore. And with the right tools, you can share your travel stories and turn your passion into something amazing.
And that brings us to the end of our Hostinger deep dive. We've covered a lot, from technical details to making money, and we hope you found it helpful and inspiring. Now it's your turn to take what you've learned and use it for your own travel blogging journey. So until next time, happy travels and happy blogging.